In this video, we're going to give you the details to this armbar defense break. Welcome back to part 2 on how to break an armbar defense. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you won't miss part 3 and 4. So let's get into this armbar defense break. In part 1 of the armbar defense break, we were grabbing onto our collar, crossing our feet, pulling our opponent in nice and tight. We were looking to stuff their elbow through my armpit so that I could get my elbow to the wrist. We were looking to unhook the hand. I was falling to my shoulder and then bringing this back while I was controlling her hand and her wrist and finishing on the armbar. In part 2, we want to look at the idea that in this case, I'm not able to get her arm stuffed through my armpit here. So what I want to look to do is grab my collar again. I'm still going to have my hand on the floor to stop her from bridging and knocking me over. I'm also going to use my legs straight if she tries to pendulum and sit up to make my leg heavy on her head. And so now what I want to look to do here is I'm going to lean my weight to my hand that's on the floor, and I'm really going to try and open up her arms from her body here. The next thing I want to look to do is take my foot that's over her body and put it into her bicep. I don't want to use the leg that's over her head because that'll help her get up and that'll destroy my opportunity to get the armbar, and it puts me in a really awkward position to try and finish as well. So hands on the floor. I'm really opening up an area where I can start to get her elbow away from her body. The next thing I look to do is I'm going to take my right foot, bring it inside of her bicep, and then I'm going to get her hands to start to come apart. So the thing here is I don't want to stay elbow to elbow here because she could still grab her hands and make this not difficult for me to get undone, but I would just have to like go through the whole like break open again. So what I want to look to do here is the minute I get her hands separated, I'm going to open my elbow. And then that way now when she tries to get control of her hand, I'm at the end of this lever and it's going to make it much harder for her to get her hands together. And now I can continue on and finish this armbar attack. So as I'm rolling back over to my right side, I'm going to be pulling my left heel in, getting my right foot back over. I'm squeezing my knees, pulling all the slack out of the joint. And then again, because I know she might look to go on a running escape, I'm always pulling the arm in that opposite direction. And in some cases, if they're really fast, as long as I control this elbow to my body, it's going to be hard for her to run and get away. And then now we have the armbar finished. That was part 2 on how to break an armbar defense. If you got any detail out of that, hit that like button, share the technique, and I'll see you next week for part 3 on how to break an armbar defense. Thanks for coming, everybody.